the question that I asked was, Sunday. And this question I asked unconsciously. I said, what can I do for my government? Not what can my government do for me? And this is what, when His Excellency had gossiped to me, like he eavesdropped to me, that is what he told me, captured his attention, his love for me. My sister gives me a phone call. The president has sent a car to Okahanja to pick you up. And I'm like, Okahanja? The president had not captured it because it was in Okahanja Park. So His Excellency thought that I live in Okahanja. So he sent a driver to pick me up. Young people also in politics, Sunday, it is that once you are in the system, do not be in isolation. Reach out to a fellow comrade. Tell a fellow comrade that these are the opportunities that are there for you. And if you have influence, use your influence to build another young person. You understand, Sunday, instead of decampaigning each other. And that is the thing with young people, especially Sunday, when we get into a position of influence, when we have a leadership position, what we do is we isolate ourselves from our constituents.
Welcome to Rise and Impact podcast, where we celebrate the incredible young people who are changing the world one community at a time. Each episode, I will be interviewing the next generation of change makers just to explore their stories, their insights and achievements. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for you to be notified whenever we release an episode. This is the Rise and Impact podcast, and I'm your host, Elizabeth Julume. So Armando, I think like the first question that I have for you, like we did have discussions before and all that, and we did a podcast before, but we never really had a chance to talk about you personally. We always talk about your work and all that. So today, like can you maybe just give us like a brief, not really a brief, but then like a history of yourself. Like we want to know you like from the beginning, like where were you born, your school journey and all that, because that's obviously those are the things that made the person that you are today. So take us back.
Thank you very much, Sunday, for having me. Firstly, let me say, Sunday, that when we speak of Armando, I always like to relate to the article in the newspaper that said Tura Boy changes heads. So that is the newspaper article that really made me who I am, and that I am what I am, and that I'm pushing for the agendas that I'm really pushing for. Just to know that despite wherever we come from, despite our circumstances, there's actually no limitation in life. But to speak of who is Armando Sunday, as I said, Armando is a boy from Kadetura. Let me tell you, Sunday, where did the Armando, once in a meeting, the junior mayor, I also served on the City of Windhoek Junior Council, the junior mayor in a meeting when someone asked for my name, and then the name that was on the list for the guest was not Armando, and it was Evian, and then yes, the organizers asked like, but who is Evian? And then I'm like, this is me.
It's
and
true.
then,
It's true.
And then the mayor, the junior mayor says, no, we call him Armando in a joke. So
really?
So let me. Armando is a name, is my household name actually, Sunday. Armando is not a name that is on my documentation, and that is the name that everybody knows.
Yeah, that's the name that we all know.
Where did the name Armando come from? As I said, Armando is a name that my friends are used to. Armando is a name that the people in the community that saw me grow up, that saw me run around in the streets, called me. So Armando is a name that I actually got from my uncle. But then, yes, that is the name with Armando. But where did my journey start, Sunday?
Yeah.
Where did everything start for me? Sunday, every time I sit back and reflect on my journey, Sunday, there's this particular day that I remember that I was with one of my childhood friends, and we were just seated. I think was I not age 11 then? Yes, so we were just seated. Yes, we were. Yes, Windhoek is our farm. Like, yes, Windhoek is the only place that I know. Like,
really?
Sunday, like.
Oh, you were born here?
Yes, I'm from Windhoek. My parents were actually also born from Windhoek, despite both of them from being from the south. My mom from Ludwig and my dad from Marienthal. So we are typical Southerners. Like, yes. So my father Hartapi and my mom from Ludwig. So yes, so we were just seated, and then once I was sharing an idea with my friend on how I wanted to impact the community, and then I told him that, but I'm afraid that I cannot do this alone. And my friend looked me in the eyes, and then he said, "One man can change the world."
Wow.
And then what happened is, the next morning, I'm just home, and then he comes and then he says, holds me on the hand, and then just the Karatura old age home is just a walk from my household, and then he just takes me on the hand, and then he says, "We're going to the old age home. We'll sell our idea. They're on getting a soup kitchen for the elderly on every Saturday. Don't worry about the startup capital. My mom will take care of that, but we'll give you the price for everything." And then we just went there. We got an appointment with the old people on the Saturday to get them
11.
food. Yes, to get them food and everything. We bought the food, and then the Saturday came. We took care of our elders. It went on for 3 months like that. Just the elderly, taking care of the elderly at the Karatura old age home. And then once I thought of a cleanup campaign, and then this is the reality of Sunday. You are never an island. We need each other to grow. The spirit of Ubuntu is what makes us Sunday, more especially Africans, because we share ideas no matter who we are, no matter how much of a contribution you can make. Just look at the puzzle, how the puzzle will unfold right now Sunday. Firstly, my friend's mother gives me the startup capital, or not per se startup capital, but the first cents that I had to use to take care of the elderly people in my community. And at that for 3 months Sunday. And then the other friend of mine, when I spoke to him about the cleanup campaign, he says to me, "But why do you want to do the cleanup campaign in isolation? Get the media involved." So what happened is, and then I wondered, but
and you did not even like think of the media.
I did not think of the media. But then he gave me this idea, and then he says, "This is I'm in grade 6 then. No, I'm in grade 5. Yes. So this is the cleanup campaign. No, I'm lost because it's old age now. Sunday. It has been years. Like we are veterans. So the soup kitchen started in 2015. Yes, when I was in grade 5. So that's when we had the cleanup the soup kitchens, and then for the year we just had soup kitchens at my house and in the at the old age home taking care of the elderly. 2016 around August, that's when the idea of the cleanup campaign came. So I thought to myself, where do I start from here? And then I knew that after my friend told me that I need to approach the media, he said that we will walk to NBC. And we will go and see a journalist, and then we'll sell the idea. And then I'm like, this must be a crazy idea. Then I tell him, no, I have an idea. I think the Minister of Labour, their office is just here. Like, we'll just walk from my house to Labour, and then we'll sell the idea there.
At the Minister of Labour?
Yes, I don't know how, but how we'll even get tax money from them or however they will assist us. But let's just go and sell the idea there. So on a Friday afternoon, my friend and I come back from school, we get dressed, we run to the Ministry of Labour. When we ran, I just decided that I will go to the executive offices. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I didn't want to talk to any secretary. Like, I just said, no, I want to see the Minister of Labour. I got in. I spoke to the secretary to the Minister of Labour. And as I am speaking to the secretary of the Minister of Labour, I see the Deputy Minister of Labour coming out of the office. So she gave me money to go to NBC, and then I approached the Deputy Minister fast. So when I got the Deputy Minister is impressed by this very grade 5, the grade 6 scholar that speaks so boldly and so on. And then to my surprise, we were able to score 150 from the Deputy Minister of Labour. And then his driver also dropped us off just here.
So she gave you guys
he gave us the 150. We already scored a $50 from the PA to the Minister of Labour, so we at least got a few cents. And then I told my friend, okay, this is around 2 o'clock. I know NBC they might still work overtime or whatever, but I know we'll get there later. From here, what we do is we are going to the Ministry of Poverty Eradication. And then this is the office was
big dreams.
The office was just here at Mutual Platz building. So then after that, we just quickly rushed to Mutual Platz. My auntie was the Deputy Minister of Poverty then. First got to her while she was leaving the office, and then we went back in. We sold the entire idea. We sat there with her, And then after that, she again gave us her driver, like Sunday. Oh, that's why I say Sunday, the government of the Republic of Namibia is really committed in seeing young people grow regardless of the circumstances or anything. The government is really committed to seeing us grow and making an impact in the societies that we live in. My aunt gave us a driver. We quickly ran to NBC. The spirit of Ubuntu has been very good to me Sunday. When I got to NBC, I see Laimi Haingura. Laimi is someone that really...
Did you already know her?
No. Sunday, just that I just got there and then I see Laimi there. She just is impressed by this little boy, and then Laimi and I interact. Then Laimi, she's now a producing executive now. She's also grown in the ranks. That is because of taking the spirit of Ubuntu Sunday, looking back to the other comrade, because you know where you come from. So then she was just a reporter there. We saw the idea of the cleanup campaign. We organized everything with the city of Windhoek solid waste management. We got cleaning refuse. We organized with the mayor then, Mayor Kadapwa. We organized refreshments. We got t-shirts from the city of Windhoek solid waste management. We got oranges. We got everything that we really needed to get the mission going. So everything was intact. We just needed to get the media involved. I spoke to Laimi and I told her that we are organizing it for Saturday. Laimi said, "No, Armando, I'll be there." I called and then I got there. We started the cleanup campaign. It's now 11 o'clock. The sun is coming out. Where's this Laimi? And I'm calling her. And then she was telling me, "Armando, young man, give me time. I am there, my senior. I'm there, my boss now."
She's even calling you my boss.
I am so on her case. And then Laimi really impacted how my life changed. And I will tell you why. The cleanup campaign took place on Saturday, and then she took the recording. And as I was walking her to the car, I was like so excited, and I was telling her I will tell my entire family to watch the news today because I'll be in the news. She told me, "No, Armando, I will not put it into today's news. Let's make it for Sunday." Because the president will also be at home and watching the news. Wow. And then I just thought to myself, whatever. Like, even if the president sees or not, like, I will still be on the news.
You just wanted to be on the news.
So what happened is that on Sunday, I was on the news with the cleanup campaign. And then in the news, the question that I asked was, and this question I asked unconsciously, I said, what can I do for my government? Not what can my government do for me? And this is what, when His Excellency had gossiped to me, like he eavesdropped to me, that is what he told me, captured his attention, his love for me. That is, and then in the news, we spoke, and then in the end, I said, what can I do for my government? Sunday, the Monday morning is when the Tura boy changes hats.
I'm telling you.
It's such a beautiful journey, Sunday. And the beautiful people that really impacted the journey. So on this Monday morning, my sister gives me a phone call. The president has sent a car to Okahanja to pick you up. And I'm like, Okahanja? The president had not captured it because it was in Okahanja Park. So His Excellency thought that I live in Okahanja. So he sent a driver to pick me up. And they were like, but then where does he live? In Okahanja? And then, then I got a call from the press secretary, now the ambassador, Namibian ambassador to France. His Excellency Albertus Mauchamo, then the press secretary in the presidency. He calls me and then says, "Young man, the president is looking for you. He wants to see you at 12 o'clock. And I'm the president of the Republic of Namibia. Me at 12. Me from Karitura. What have I done? What have I done to deserve this? Oh my God. Oh my God." And then we eventually, the president sent me a car, and then while we are on our way to State House, the president has an emergency meeting. So he attends that meeting, but then we are in State House, all these people that come in, and a lady at State House actually took me into her office and showed me that she had put up a picture of me in her office of the Tura boy changes hair newspaper article, that she had put that in her office. And then everybody came and they were so nice and everybody greeted, and then
you're not honorable.
Then I went into the room and the big man comes in. The president and I interact. But I'm still shocked, Sunday. And the president asked me a question of saying,
His Excellency Hagege.
Yes, the President of the Republic of Namibia.
Namibia.
So the question was on how does he want to how do I want to impact the society? What can the government now
asked you
do?
that-
Yes, what can the government do for me? Because I've already done something for the government of the Republic of Namibia. And then I promised His Excellency the President, said I will strive to impact the lives of young people in the Republic of Namibia by all means possible in all aspects of life, regardless of whether these projects still go on or not. That is the promise that I had made to His Excellency the President. So the President and I interact.
And you were just 11.
I was 12 then.
12 then.
12 then, yeah.
Wow.
So the President and I interact. Everything goes well. So after that, protocol comes and they just snatch me.
Ne?
Someone else wants to see you. We rush. The First Lady of the Republic of Namibia.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is like a dream. Oh wow. What a life.
So the First Lady and I get to know each other. We share hugs. She
Imagine.
becomes a motherly figure to me. The First Lady and I interact. So now I've met the entire First family.
Wow.
The spirit of Ubuntu Sunday.
Yeah.
I did not have a phone by then. So the President had instructed his spokesperson in the presidency. Get Comrade Armando a phone. I want to
Really?
call Armando and say hello to Armando every time. So the spirit of Ubuntu Sunday. I come from nothing, but look at how destiny can change.
Exactly.
And the reality of one man can really change the world. And other projects that I worked on was youth empowerment. And really Sunday, I must really be frank with you and say that the Kenkop administration has really been kind to me Sunday. Like I've worked with the Prime Minister of the Republic of Namibia, with the youth empowerment projects, a lot of different projects that I have been part of. Like we have worked with the Ministry of Poverty Eradication. Oh, Sunday, and I have met a lot of people in governance. Like the relationships that we have really built, that we have been keeping till today, Sunday. Like on how life can really change and how there's no limit in our life, not even circumstance. Sunday, circumstance can only do two things to us Sunday. Because you choose either to become a victim of your circumstance Sunday, or either a product of your circumstance Sunday. One man can indeed change the world, and not necessarily change the world, but one man can also just impact the world Sunday. So that is my journey of how I became to be known as the Armando that everybody looks up to Sunday. Another person that I would really like to allude to in my growth journey is the late Honorable Mandela Kapera Sunday. You know, Sunday, when I speak of Mandela's passing Sunday, I feel like I have not really mourned yet Sunday. I feel like I've not really yet looked at the reality. I've not seen that Mandela is really no more Sunday. Mandela is someone that was really instructed by His Excellency to take care of me. Mandela is someone that was instructed by government to really take care of the projects that I was handling. So with the National Youth Council, having also been declared in the year 2016 as the youngest youth in the Republic of Namibia at the youth seminar, the first ever youth seminar in Namibia. Yes, having been declared as the youngest delegate to that conference by the National Youth Council under the leadership of Mandela Kapere. So with my political journey, which I would later allude to you, Mandela was really vocal in shaping me Sunday. So overall, before we get into the depths of what am I doing now, who am I, and how am I contributing to nation building right now, in general, that is who Armando is, where he comes from, and how he became known as Armando.
Such an amazing journey that you had. So, you know, one will just think maybe that you were born maybe in the house of privilege or something like that, but the story that you shared now, it's just one activity that actually made you to be this person that like opened doors to everything that you are today and all that, and that's really amazing. And you not like you impacting like a whole community, coming up with this project, this fitting the old age and all that. And I think that's what we all, like we young people, really like have to look, not like asking what can the government, because you're always like the government must do for us this, the government must do for us this, the community like what and what, but then it's always us, what can we do for the government, how can we meet the government halfway? So it's really like amazing like to hear your journey and all that. So how did you from now when you met like His Excellency and see like all the comrades and all that. Like, how were you able to keep up like with to maintain the relationships with those people and all that? Like, and how did it like impact like your journey to where you are right now?
You know, Sunday, I think I am a child of many honorables. Like, they might have their personal children, but the way they've impacted me, Sunday, it's very unanimous. Like, Sunday, like, that is not a relationship that you are supposed to have with a 12-year-old child. Like, the way that they've just influenced, like, the way that they've contributed. Like, I remember once having traveled with the Minister of Higher Education, Honorable Ida Ganjimurangi, we paid a courtesy visit to the marginalized community in Tunkwe. So when we got there, I was just in grade 8 then. That was my first grade 8 years. So I was still a little boy. So her detail got us to the hotel where we were living, and then PA asked her like, but Honorable, do we take Armando to his room?
No.
And she says, Armando is my baby. He sleeps where I sleep. And I'm like, but in a room with a minister, like, what is happening? And she says, Armando is my child. He sleeps where I sleep, and he wakes up where I wake up. He eats what I eat. He drinks what I drink. He goes where what I drink. So I think that Sunday, on the onset, I must say, Sunday, that the relationship that we have really shared is not a professional relationship, but it is rather a relationship which was based on, I always say, Sunday, as a politician, I always say, let us always strive for our relationships to be built on the fundamental of love. Let love be the glue in our comradeship. So I believe that it is just pure love that is maintaining all our relationships. For instance, the Deputy Minister now of Finance and Public Enterprises, Honorable Maureen Hindambwende, I had met her while she was still the Minister of International Relations and Corporations, but her portfolios had grown throughout that. She had moved to different ministries until she's at Finance, but our relationship is still the same. She has brought me up from a little child to where I am. The same with our Minister of Higher Education, the same with the First Lady of the Republic of Namibia. It is just that Sunday, we the formula to maintaining such relationships, especially with politicians and people in high governance office, is that Sunday, you just need to be yourself. You understand, Sunday? Just be your mere self. You understand? I remember once speaking to the mayor of the former mayor of Windhoek, Honorable Sadega Vanas, and one thing she said to me was that, Armando, and then I said, how was you? And then she said, Armando, I really love you. And I said, oh, worship, I also love you. And then she said, if you change who you are, you will lose your identity. Just be authentic, dear Armando. Just be who you are. Because I do not know what you bring to the table, but you bring something special to the table. And that is what we need to understand, Sandy. As young people, as we move on and as we are journeying, especially in the space of politics, we always have a mentality of fighting each other, which is not supposed to be the reality, Sunday. You have something unique that you bring to the table, Sunday. I have something unique that I bring to the table. But then we are building a nation. We are building a party. We are building the same ideology. So why not just work together? Exactly. You understand, Sunday? Because we all are unique in our different ways. We all bring something special to this, what we are striving for. You understand, Sunday? Exactly. Yeah. So in terms of the relationships and maintaining relationships, Sunday, it is just that I feel that everybody is duty bound. That His Excellency had said that He has taken care of the country, so take care of him. So I must say that really I have been a child of the Geingob administration. Like, I've really seen how the Geingob administration has moved with its ups and downs, and really I've also been, I must be frank with you and say that really the Geingob administration does not really isolate young people from policy making. Like, I've been part of shaping a lot of policies in Namibia. Is it rape? Is it policies such as housing? Is it policies such as education? Like, the Geingob administration has really opened up doors for me to reach my potential, to share ideas and also shape a policy. So it is that it is not only the relationship of love that we share, but it's also a professional relationship that we share, that with the kind of administration is duty bound in working with young people. And I think it is that really has kept our relationship too, that they have a duty of working with young people, you understand, Sandy?
That's very true. It's good that you shared that, because I think we as not only young people but in Namibian, we don't really see that side of the president,
Yes.
or we don't really see that side of the things that he does for people. They are not really they are not shared out there and all that. So it's good to know that he is part of a journey of a child from Katutura who was a child with big dreams, who came from nowhere and all that. And today you're actually making a great impact in the community and all that. And when you speak like this, especially in the last episode that we shot, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
People were like, Elizabeth, can you put me in contact with that man Armando and all that. When we were then they were asking so many questions, where does he work and all. Armando is Armando is just a youth. No, they wouldn't believe it, because somebody, you can't be as young as that without so much knowledge and all that. So when did your political journey when did you get okay, I understand that you were you have been involved with the ministers and all that, but what really got you interested in the in politics? Because I can ask Armando, I think you know all the corners of the parliament, you know all the corners of parliament offices and all that. So when did your political journey I think when did you became interested in the politics and all that?
Sunday,
and why, being young as you are,
in the year 2017, Sunday, His Excellency the President had invited me to the State of the Nation address, and I was actually in the President's speech. So he had invited me to to Parliament, just here at Parliament, and then it was the State of the Nation address 2017. So His Excellency had invited me. So that's the first time that I actually had experienced parliamentary democracy, and I'd actually experienced parliamentary procedure. So I was in the August House. I saw how the speaker had done things, and I saw that in Parliament, discussions are really not limited. If we speak of education, it is something that is touched. If we speak of the economy, if we speak of domestic violence, every aspect in nation building is addressed in Parliament. So that is where my love for Parliament really grew, Sunday. That I saw that I really had a keen interest in nation building, and how would I impact this? This is with the parliamentary democracy. If I learn more about the parliamentary democracy. So since then, Sunday, I've really been vocal in sharing the parliamentary democracy with young people that I always meet, telling them about the State of the Nation address, telling them about the appropriation bill, which is the national budget, sharing such a key event of the legislature. You understand, Sunday, to just familiarize themselves with the legislative process, which is a very beautiful process, which is a democratic process, Sunday, a process which I really love, a process which I never miss out on, Sunday. I always regard myself, and Sunday, with parliamentary democracy, you are never limited, Sunday. If it has to do with any discussion, you have an insight on such discussion. You are able to case study, you understand, relate on quoting ministers, and also holding them accountable, you understand, saying that, Honorable Minister, this was the phrase that you had used. What does that really mean for the young people of Namibia? And not only that, Sunday, I feel that I really have a responsibility towards the young people of Namibia, because when I say I have a responsibility to the young people of Namibia, is I'm a representative of my constituency, Sunday. I always say that what young people do not want to do, I will do for them, and I will reprimand my constituents. That is something that I had also told the Vice President of the Sabo Party, the Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. I had told that, Comrade Vice President, leave the young people to me. Those are my constituents. The questions that I ask on behalf of my constituents. I need answers on behalf of my constituents. In a room where there are only elders, where you see me, Comrade Vice President, I am representing my constituents. Whatever they are doing, they might be doing, but in the end, Sunday, we will be the young people that will be leading this country. So why not start now? And one thing that I always say to my senior comrades is that, Sunday, I refuse to be called a future leader. Do not limit my potential today on calling me a future leader. I want to be a leader now. I want to be acknowledged now. I want to sit on the table that is to be set on in the 10 years. Why can't I sit on it right now? So that is the space that I'm claiming for the young people of the Republic of Namibia. And the only way that we can do that is that if we familiarize ourselves with legislation, with policy, if we're able to question policy, if we're able to put if we are able to put policy makers to the task, you understand, Sunday. So that with me has to do with the legislative arm of government, which I have a very keen interest in.
That's very nice. That's like I don't even have words, but yeah, you know, like growing up, man, like I never thought like really politics like I never thought politics like had anything like had any impact on me. I'm like, no, that's the government's problem. That's they must be the one to deal with politics. Politics doesn't affect me, doesn't do anything to me and all that. But then like growing up, I got to understand like I didn't really get involved with politics, but then I just got to understand how everything interconnect and all that. So why should like we young people, I think like speaking now from the perspective of like being a youth and all that, why do you think we should be kind of maybe like updated, or we should be involved in politics, even though not fully, we should know what is going on around and all that?
Sunday, you know, I am a representative of a constituency that makes up the largest demographic of the country, which is the young people of the Republic of Namibia, Sunday. But on the onset, I must say to you, Sunday, that I always refute, or should I say, I always denounce claims that young people make of how government is really not involved in seeing their plight, how government is really not involved in seeing them grow, high unemployment, high poverty rates. Those are things that young people really, how should I say, paint government with as a bad doing of government, which I really do not blame them for doing, Sunday. But my problem comes in where we really just speak with no action, Sunday. We really are not where we want to be seen. You understand? Young people are not where they are supposed to be seen. There are sometimes that in Parliament, Sunday, I always sit in the public gallery of Parliament, Sunday. Some days I am the only one in the public gallery of Parliament, and yet on social media, when I see young people talking about how there's high unemployment in the country, how the economy is going down or the economy is fluctuating, I really do not blame them, Sunday. But I always am disappointed in them that they are not using the right channels to address such matters, Sunday. Parliament is the building for the people, Sunday. And many a times when I have matters that are of concern to me, matters that are in the public domain, that I really want to put to the question, Sunday, the place where I'm able to corner members, legislators is in the House of the Legislators. I get them at Parliament. As they are walking out, I get a member that I want to talk to, and I interact, and then I get my responses. Then I do not have a need to go and make noise on social media. Social media has a huge impact on our lives and on how we do things, and especially young people use social media as their advocacy point right now, which is rightfully good, Sunday. But while we have access to it, why would we rather make noise where we are not heard? Social media can just do so much on sending out the message on what our unhappiness is. But what we need to understand is that the reality is that our policymakers are not on social media. So we need to find our policymakers where they need to be found, you understand, Sunday. So that is it, that Sunday, that young people are really, they are not isolated. They have disappeared. They have isolated themselves. You understand? Parliament is open to the public. Offices in almost of the state are open to the public.
And just to cut you there, and I think that is one thing that because we tend to think that to go to Parliament, like the public is not allowed to enter Parliament, or you need to pay or something like that. And I think that's something that we kind of misunderstand as young people or as the public at large.
Yeah. So those buildings are for the people. Sunday, you know, with COVID and just now, when I was at Parliament, I was told by Sergeant that I am not allowed into the public gallery. Then I requested to see parliamentary protocol, and then I spoke to protocol and I told them, but what is the COVID in the public gallery? Then of course I have access to the public gallery. This is the house of the people.
Yeah.
I am an electorate, so I deserve to be in. And Sergeant at Arm had no choice but to grant me access to the public gallery. That is that young people just demand where they cannot be accessed.
Yeah.
We need to make noise where we can be accessed. You understand, Sunday? So that is it. Like we young people are really, they are not where they are supposed to be seen, Sunday.
Yeah.
And we blame the government, but the government can do just so much, Sunday.
Yeah.
It is up to us, Sunday, if we want to see the change. Why can we not impact the change, Sunday? There are so many opportunities. There are so many ways in which young people can be part of decision making. Young people can be part of policy making. Young people can be part of politics. Young people can be part of the legislative process. It is just a matter of we do not do our research, Sunday.
Exactly.
We do not demand what is our, Sunday. And when you are pushed out, Sunday, come back with force. And if they don't come back with force, use their own to get in, you understand, Sunday.
Yeah.
Use another legislator to get access to the legislative building, you understand, Sunday.
Yeah.
There are many ways in which you can get answers to all questions if you want.
It's true. It's good that you say that. And I think like one thing that we also said, we don't understand our rights. Like, because if somebody like push me out of like the parliament, I will just freely go out because and I'm not going to question because I don't understand my rights, my political rights, or my rights as a Namibian nationality and all this. So I think we really need like to read the constitution, to read like all the necessary.
And you understand, Sunday, there's one problem that I really have with my constituents is that we really fail at reading and we fail at familiarizing ourselves with legislation. So we just speak in the air. You understand, Sunday? We really need to familiarize ourselves with the different acts that govern and regulate policy making in Namibia. What are the acts that regulate parliament? What are the acts that regulate the executive? How is the check and balance happening in the Republic of Namibia? You understand, Sunday? Sometimes when you have a dialogue with a young person will say, the president said in parliament, but then my response will be, and then I stop listening completely to the young person. And your question will be, Sandy, but why do you stop listening to the young person?
Yeah.
That is because the person is misleading the other constituent. The president is not a member of parliament. That is because we failed to understand the check and balance. We failed to understand acts that regulate our lawmaking process. Parliament is the legislator. Cabinet is the executive. Government falls under the executive. Parliament falls under the executive because not under the executive, but it falls under government because it is a group of legislators that make up policy making which regulates governance. The executive is cabinet. The president is the chairperson of cabinet but has no influence over parliament. You understand? The president can only be summoned by parliament, but the president cannot be a member of parliament because he has a representative in parliament, which is the key chief administrator of government business in parliament, which is the prime minister. You understand, Sunday? So young people have really not understand the acts that regulate these establishments and these appointments and how things happen. So we just talk in isolation. You understand? And we don't know that if you want, once I was doing a research on how different arms of the state play an imperative role in nation building and poverty eradication. So I spoke to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister granted me access to every government ministry and in almost of the state in the Republic of Namibia. I was granted access to go and speak to each minister of each ministry, speak to the Attorney General, speak to the Prosecutor General. Yes, and they speak to the Director General. In the ACC, the Director General of the ACC. Also with the Central Intelligence Services Intelligence Director, yes. So I was granted access to all these officers by the Office of the Prime Minister because the Prime Minister is the head of government business in Parliament. So every government ministry in arm of the state reports to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is, so to say, the spokesperson and the responsible person for government business. You understand, Sunday? Yes. So that is just to give you an insight of access to governance is something that it's not a matter of question in Namibia. It's just a matter of standing up and taking the action as young people. And that is something we fail at as young people. Standing up and just taking up responsibility and the action that is needed to get the change that we really are so desiring for. Access to be quite frank with you, Sunday, in Namibia, access to governance is not a matter of question. We are granted access. It is just that our young people do not want to utilize their power as the electorate of the Republic of Namibia to keep those. Also, let us not shy away from the matter of corruption too, Sunday. Young people really have interest in speaking about corruption, but do they really use the right channels to question corruption? That is a said no, Sunday. We can make so much noise on social media, but there is just so much that we can do if we cannot really check and balance.
Exactly, because you are addressing these older people, and these older people are not
on social media. Yes, Sunday.
Wow, that was amazing. So what are some of the projects that you are currently working on, or some of the amazing things that you are currently working on, Armando, or you are involved in? Just some activities.
Sunday, when we speak of Armando, really, I think that I really, as a young person, my constituents have really failed me. So I've taken up so much responsibility on me that I am here, I am there. But to answer your question, Sunday, firstly, let's start with my political journey, Sunday. I am a member of the Southwest African People's Organization, the SWAPO Party. And when we speak of the SWAPO Party, Sunday, I want to make it clear that Sunday, I'm not a member of the SWAPO Party because of a membership card, Sunday. I'm not a member of the SWAPO Party because of the scarf that I wear. I'm not a member of the SWAPO Party because of the shirt that I wear. I'm not a member of the SWAPO Party because I want to be in the ranks of the SWAPO Party. I'm not a member of the SWAPO Party because I want to grow in government. I'm a member of the SWAPO Party because I'm indebted to the SWAPO Party, Sunday. When I speak of the SWAPO Party, I speak of my heart. I say that I am a SWAPO Party member because my heart is blue, green and red. I do not need a membership card to prove that I'm a member of the SWAPO Party. I do not need validation from a comrade to prove that I'm a member of the SWAPO Party. I am indebted to the SWAPO Party. The SWAPO Party is the only party that I know, and the SWAPO Party is the only party that I trust, and the SWAPO Party is the only party that I will always move with regardless of whatever, Sunday. So I'm also a member of the SWAPO Party. So right now, Sunday, I'm really involved with my party in seeing my party grow in terms of mobilization, getting new young people into politics through the SWAPO Party, because at the end, that is the party that I represent, that is the party that I stand for, but also just encouraging other young people to take up political office in all political parties that they represent, becoming vocal young people in the political parties that they represent, to change the political dynamic as it really stands right now. You understand, Sunday? So on the onset, I'm really involved with my party right now in terms of seeing the SWAPO Party grow, and just informing young people on the ideologies of the SWAPO Party, and of course recruiting members into the SWAPO Party, because we are nothing without our electorate. So firstly, that is one thing that I have keen interest in. It is to see my party grow and being part of my party activities and just contributing to politics through my party, you understand, and also keeping people accountable through my party, you understand, because at the end my party is currently the party in governance, so we have closer access to decision makers and check and balance can take place. And another thing that I'm really working on right now is that Sunday I work with the Namibian Genocide Technical Committee. This is a committee that was established to advise the Nama traditional leaders on the atrocities of genocide which were carried out by the then German Schutztruppe and the then German administration in Namibia, the German Southwest Africa. So with that, we know that the Nama and Herero communities were killed. There is a discussion for another day, but I am also the recently elected as secretary to the Namibian Genocide. Yes, under the office of the vice president. So so the vice president is the patron of the organization, and I was elected as the secretary to the Namibian Genocide Technical Committee. So I actually also have a keen interest when it comes to Nama Genocide, and matters of traditional authorities, you understand, Sunday, with the Nama Traditional Leaders Association and how the division is happening in our different clans. So with the technical committee, we work around restorative justice. With the office of the vice president, we worked on restorative justice and just bringing back our people and uniting our people and healing the wounds of the past, you understand, with the genocide also that it happened. So with genocide, I'm very vocal on that, as I'm very vocal on addressing the tragedies that happened to my people in the year 1904, 1908, in just getting my people restorative justice and in the end getting them reparation. But what we know is that reparations can really not pay for the pain that we sit with as people of descendants of the victims of genocide. But in the end, the German government still needs to pay Sunday, even though what is this? Money cannot heal our wounds. But we really need to have a takeoff point Sunday, and that is something that I work on with young people, to tell young people that German community and the Nama community, I speak for the Nama community in particular as their spokesperson, by saying that the Nama community and the German community can never Sunday sit together in harmony while we have not confronted the matter of genocide, while we have not laid to rest the matter of genocide. So I'm really vocal on working with the Nama Genocide Technical Committee and also other partners on getting our people restorative justice. Till now, we have worked with the office of the vice president. We have worked with the Ministry of Education and so many different arms, and we are working on so many projects with the Nama Genocide Technical Committee on restorative justice for our people, and just again healing the wounds of the past, so that we as descendants of the victims of the Nama Genocide can also just sit with the Germans and their descendants and tell them that your ancestors killed our ancestors, but now we want to lay this to rest and we want to work in mutual trust for the betterment of the Namibian society, in extension and by limitation the Nama community. So that is something that I also work on with, and in my personal capacity, Sunday, the spirit of Ubuntu, Sunday, I am because of someone else. So why not help someone else, Sunday? I really have been vocal in helping young people on different projects that they have. Like Sunday, I've become a father to the Namibian youth. Yes, I've become a father to the Namibian youth, I should say. If they have a problem, whether it is education, whether they have a little project that they are working on, they report to me, and then we find ways on how we can really realize such projects. Like some people that approached me that had worked on agricultural projects, that really have grown now and they have been impacted now. Some people that I had worked with on mental health of the boy child. We had such a huge campaign last year here in Windhoek with the City of Windhoek Mayor being our patron. We had members of parliament like Maximiliano Kashimune. So we had brought all the stakeholders on board and we spoke broadly about mental health and we advocated and campaigned on mental health. So this is a project that I also had influence on. Just recently, last year, there was a young boy from the coast of Namibia who had reached out with a project that he was working on soccer development and skills development, which we need to understand that we are not all academics, Sunday, so we need to help such young people. So I was vocal in getting him assistance with pursuing his soccer career, like getting him the boots, the sponsorship that he needed, and hopefully by next year he'll be going out to South Africa on a educational soccer program, which will be for 6 months. And I also work with various young people on impacting their day-to-day life, because I work on a motto of saying that I want to impact the life of young people just so as my life was impacted. Because in the end, Sunday, I do not want my name to be written on a gravestone, but I want my name to be written in the hearts of the people.
That's very true. That's very true. To get to the person, you actually have to get to their heart.
So those are projects that I work on. So young people really, Sunday, I do not limit myself. As I say, my young people are not informed. So when they reach out to me, I inform them. And then in the end, Sunday, we are because of someone else.
Exactly,
So why not just do the same with someone else? If need be, we link them up with the right people so that they can also grow in their line of work. You understand,
that's
Sunday?
very true.
Yes.
That's very true. That's very true. And I feel like very happy when somebody reaches out to me, like when somebody trusts me that I can actually help them and all that. Because one thing that we are scared of, like especially if we see another young person being out there and being really kind of like connected or being at places where we have never been, we tend to be kind of scared to reach out to them. But once you see people reaching out to you, then you must really know that you are really making an impact in, like, you're really making a great impact in the community and all that. And it's like it's very nice when you listen to those young people. And yeah, it's always a pleasure like to listen to you, because you know we learn as we exchange and all that. So yeah, I'm so curious like to know, like, you have done so much and all that. So what are your life aspirations? What are your future aspirations, Armando?
You know, Sunday, I must say, Armando, in as much as I'm a political activist, I take it as it comes. But I think I should rather restructure your question by saying the question is rather, what is next for Armando?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, Sunday, that I believe that Sunday, I have really, if today my end is to come Sunday, I will really rest in peace, because I've really impacted different lives Sunday. I've impacted different families. I've impacted different communities. I've impacted different organizations. But speaking for Armando, I believe that Sunday I have reached where I want to be. I have gotten what I want to receive. I have not really become a member of parliament yet. I have not become the president, as I promised His Excellency the President that one day I will become the President of the Republic of Namibia. I've really not received that Sunday. But what does it mean for me now, Sunday? From here, moving on, let's say from here, 5 years from here, what does it really mean for Armando Sunday? You know, Sunday, in terms of fighting for people's rights, fighting and campaigning and all those, I have really exhausted that Sunday. I feel that I'm at a space where I tell myself that I'm not in the mood to campaign. I'm not in the mood to de-campaign another comrade. I'm not in the mood to go out loud and be seen and heard and so on. I believe that now is the time for other people to take the shine, to take the baton and run. To take the light and run, for them to be to also get a glimpse of influence, you understand, Sunday, to also be part of decision making, you understand, Sunday, not because I was really part of decision making, but I really had access to decision making, you understand. So I believe that it is now time for other young people to grow, for other young people to establish a name for themselves, Sunday, because I have been in the space for long. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying to you is that Sunday I'm really taking, to be frank with you, a retirement from activism. Like for me now, what it means for me is that Sunday I want to see Sunday grow. So I want to speak to Sunday and I want to dialogue with Sunday and see what is Sunday, what are you passionate about, Sunday, and how can I best see you grow? How can I best see whatever potential you have just burst out like this, and you also ask yourself, but did I really have this in me? That is my aim right now, Sunday, impacting other young lives, Sunday. So I really got a lot of young people that I'm working with in whatever aspirations they have, whether it is political, whether it is governance, whether it is education, if they're political ambitions. We work around involving them with their political parties and seeing around just, how should I say, using or just getting other young people into the system, equipping them so that they can just blossom Sunday, so that it can go well with the young people of Namibia. So that is the aim as far as what is Armando striving for right now. It is that I've really exhausted campaigning, I've really exhausted speaking, I've really exhausted being seen, I've really exhausted. Others might say, but Armando, you have just started now, but Sunday, age 12 is really too much, Sunday. And many a times, I you know, Sunday, only this year, with my family too, we have really spent quality time. Like, it would be on Saturdays, either I'm out of town, I am out of country, me. I am here, I am there. And then only Sunday evening I'm with my family. But now we are spending more quality time. I'm learning what family really is, and really they're impacting who I'm really becoming Sunday. And that is really projecting into society. On really Sunday, I really am passionate now at this stage about seeing other young people grow Sunday, seeing this little flower that was like this just blossom all of a sudden Sunday, like just seeing them grow, seeing them attending a meeting without being called by Armando, seeing the obligation, you understand Sunday. It really warms my heart when a young person calls me and says that, how can I join the Sobo Party Youth League? How can I become a member of NANSO? How can I just hearing that from a young person Sunday, it really touches my heart, because at least even if I'm just able to get 2 young people Sunday, those 2 will eventually impact 4 other lives Sunday. And I am a representative of the young constituents, and that will change how we perceive the young people in Namibia.
That's actually very much true, because it says like you don't need to reach the masses, you just need to reach that 1 or 2 people that can reach the masses.
Yes.
And like it's really good hearing it from you. Like I never like really heard of somebody who said, no, I have lived my life as being young as you are, and you are saying that you have lived and you have done most of the things that you wanted to do, and you have impacted life and all. Because as young people, we're like, what is your life aspiration? I want to be rich, I want to be what, to be the the richest, the billionaire, and
which is not wrong.
No, which is not wrong. Yeah, it's not wrong. But then like you being really like just being you impacting the community, like it's like that is really like one of the biggest thing for you and all that. And you being like you impacting people's life, and nobody can take that away from you, and that's the thing. And then the other thing as well, it's I think one of the challenges like that we have as young people, when we get to positions or when we get to places, places of
influence.
Yes. We tend to forget from where we came from. We tend to forget that there are still other young people that are struggling the same way we struggle, that need somebody to lift them up, because you also lifted by somebody.
Yes.
Somebody gave you a hand, and you need to give that hand to
back.
extend.
Yes.
You need to give that hand back. And I'm just really amazing hearing that from you, that you really like your journey is just to impact more people and to help as many people, as many young people as possible. Because
while we are at that, sorry Sunday, I just want to send out a message to my constituents by saying that Sunday, we as young people, we always have the understanding of, but why is it only Armando? Armando again. But there is nothing limiting young people. It is just that our young people do not want to be seen where they need to be seen, and then we always want to decampaign other young people that are just striving for the same interest of our fellow young people. Then we are killing the spirit of other young people by decampaigning each other, while we could ultimately just work together Sunday, because we all have something unique which we bring to the table, and then when we compile everything together, we get the perfect picture that we really want Sunday. You understand? In terms of young people also in politics Sunday, it is that once you are in the system, do not be in isolation. Reach out to a fellow comrade. Tell a fellow comrade that these are the opportunities that are there for you. And if you have influence, use your influence to build another young person. You understand Sunday, instead of decampaigning each other. And that is the thing with young people, especially Sunday, when we get into a position of influence, when we have a leadership position, what we do is we isolate ourselves from our constituents. So to say to it that I am the one in the position, it is how I do it, or we do not do it at all. You understand Sunday? We get the spirit of ownership, entitlement, you understand Sunday, which is very wrong as young people. We need to work together regardless of our positions. Sunday, many a times young people would say honorable to me, and when we were in the junior council, some would say comrade to me, which is not wrong Sunday. It is how you have made the person, how you have impacted their life, that they reciprocate such respect to you, which is not wrong Sunday. But I always say, try calling me just by my name, Armando. Because the time you give me a position,
Yeah.
I will get so used to that position that the position will come before Armando. And when a position comes before your name, you get into the danger zone, because you'll get so used to that position that you feel that you cannot impact the lives of other young people without that position. But here I am. I do not represent any youth body.
Yeah.
I am not on any youth organization. I do not, except for the Namibian Genocide Technical Committee, where I am an executive. I do not hold any executive position, but I'm able to influence the lives of the young people. You understand? That is because I do not want a title. Because once you put a title before your name, you become the title and not Armando. You understand?
That's very true. So thank you so much, Armando, for coming out and sharing your knowledge as much as possible.